Hello and welcome to Dawn Chorus Writes, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction and audiofiction. This is the series, a game of cat and mouse, and I just want to say a massive shout out to Kim for the thanks for her amazing stunning artwork in the thumbnail. Her link is in the description below. Send me some love by smashing that like button. Comment down below what you think of it and what you're gonna think what's gonna happen in the final next week, and subscribe if you haven't already, because we're part 5 and there's just so much more to come. Okay, hope you enjoy. Part 5. Marinette, Minnie's POV. Kitty! She jumped back from him. I can't. Why? You know I'm Adrien. Sorry, my fault. I didn't mean to. She fumbled on the spot, avoiding the look on his face of confusion and yet longing, but most of all, she was trying to forget how good that kiss had been. Like she had done it before. It had felt right. No, it was wrong. All wrong. Adrien. He was the one you loved, had waited all this time for, and now she might have messed it up. I had better go. She pulled out a jump rope, making sure of her footing, and kept her focus on point this time. No! Wait! Minnie! Let me explain! Please! He tried grabbing out to her, but she refused, instead took off as twilight descended around them. She was about to transform back anyhow and needed to be back in her room. Especially now, the public might be on the lookout for this new super and the gossip attached to Cat. Oh, crumbs. What was she going to do? How was she going to explain to Adrien? How? How can she tell him she kissed Kitty? She had betrayed him. His trust. She hadn't even told him how much time she'd been spending with Cat. Why had she put herself in that position? Why had she felt drawn to him? She had Adrien. There was no way she was attracted to Kitty. I mean, yes, he was handsome, and he had been super sweet with her recently, but they were friends. That's all they were, and now friendship could destroy her relationship with Adrien, the one person she had desired all this time. Could she tell him? Can she tell him? What would she say? She had stopped it, pulled back as soon as it happened. Would that make a difference? Could he forgive her? She paced across her room, glancing down at her phone, her fingers hovering over Adrien's smiling face and his number. She knew there was no choice. She had to tell him. She couldn't lie about this. But was she allowed to tell him she had been Multimouse at the time, or does she tell yet another lie and say that she had been Marinette? The guilt was tearing her up inside as images of Adrien's broken heart expression seared in her mind, colliding with the same one of Kitty when she had left him on the roof, calling out to her. Had that been why he had taken a shine to Minnie? Cat had feelings for her, not Ladybug. When had that happened? And yet, he knew about Adrien, right? So, what, he was willing to steal someone else's girl? That didn't seem like Cat. Then again, since placing on the Mouse Miraculous, none of this had seemed right. She knew now she should have listened to Tiki, and yet she needed it for the fight. But it was all of this afterwards, wanting to please her cat, wanting to please herself and have fun. Now what? The cost had become too high of a price. And yet, Crumbs. Her thoughts were rambling together and making no sense. Tiki, help! She collapsed on her bed, burying her face into a pillow which still had a lingering smell from Adrien. That smell, bringing forth an image of Cat's hair and how she had curled up in his super softness. No, that was the mouse talking, not Marinette. Yes, Marinette? Tiki floated in front of her, with arms crossed and displeasure on her face. That was until she saw Marinette's panicked expression. What's wrong? What happened? I've messed up big time. I don't know how it happened. I mean, I do, but how could I let it? What on earth is he going to say? What am I going to say? Can I tell him semi-truth? Would he confront Cat? Marinette, what happened? I kissed Cat. Well, no, he kissed me, and I pushed back, but not straight away. For a brief moment, it had felt right, but it's so wrong. I'm in love with Adrien. Dumb cat, Tiki grumbled. Tiki? You never say anything like that. What is it? What do you think I should do? I thought something like this would happen. You've blurred too many lines. I know I have. But I have to tell him, right? Do I say I was Minnie? Multimouse at the time? Reveal that? Or lie and say I was Marinette, spending my free time with Cat Noir instead of my actual boyfriend? You're the guardian. The reveal is up to you, but once you've crossed that line, then it opens up for anyone to reveal. Even Cat. Would you let him reveal himself to Marinette? No, of course not. Why would that make a difference to telling Adrien? It's not like I'm going to choose between them. There is only one option. You said it, Tiki mumbled. So, you think I should tell Adrien? Marinette held out her phone in front of her, staring at the cute, candid photo she had taken of Adrien a week ago. She suddenly felt sick, her stomach churning. Oh, what had she done? I think you two need to talk, yes. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Her fingers pressed down on his number, and she could hear the ringing tone followed by the click of him answering. Her stomach flipped. Hey, Marinette, Can you come over? Or I come to you? Yeah. What's wrong? Are you okay? It's fine. I just really need to speak to you, face to face. I'll come to you. Be there in 5 minutes? Good. Thank you. I love you. I love you so much. Her voice cracked as she hung up the phone. Tears fell down her cheeks, but she angrily wiped them away. No, this was my fault. I don't get to cry if it was my fault. I brought this on myself. His last words echoed inside of her head. He loves her. And she kissed another. She picked up the pillow that had the lingering smell of Adrien and screamed into it. She took a deep breath, trying to calm herself before he arrived, as a thought popped into her head. How did it smell like him? It had been over a week since they had curled up and watched that film together, and since then, Cat had used it. Why did it Then another thought pushed the last one to the side. Did she need to tell him all about her hanging out with Cat? They had only been friendly, not dates. But friends don't kiss. A text message sounded through from Adrien, saying he was at the side door of the bakery. This was it. She sent a quick message back and made her way downstairs. She opened the door to Adrien, looking anxious. How much she wanted to throw her arms around him, but no, that wasn't fair, right? Hey, come in. She stepped aside and allowed him to pass, filling her senses with that familiar scent. Marinette. His gaze was cast low, fixed on his held-out hand for her. Feeling his fingers wrapped around her somehow brought comfort, but also the sensation of dread in her stomach, that this might be the last time he held her hand like this. "We'll talk in my room," she said firmly, not sure if her parents on the other side of the bakery door could hear them. He nodded and allowed her to lead the way, keeping a firm grip on her hand. She lowered the trapdoor down quietly and stood up to Adrien, flinging his arms around her, squeezing her tight. "Adrien, please don't break up with me." His voice sounded scared. His fingertips dug into her back, pressing his head against hers. That smell, the soft touch of his hair tickling against her cheek. He ran a hand from her back towards her neck and into her hair, leaning back enough to hover his lips in front of hers. Oh, how much she wanted to close the gap and wish with all her heart she didn't need to say those words. "Adrien, no, I would never, but..." "Oh, thank goodness." He went to lean in, but she stopped him. "But we still need to talk." She pushed herself out of his hold, needed air to breathe. "What do you need to talk about?" He seemed hesitant, fearful of what she could say, causing the bubbling dread to form into a monster. I don't know how to say this. Whatever you need to say won't change how I feel about you." He tried reaching out to her, but she pulled away. She was not worthy of his touch. Taking a deep breath. "Cat Noir kissed me," she blurted out. Did you kiss him back? Is that what you wanted to tell me? You chose him over me?" "No, I didn't. I pushed him away. Well, I hesitated for a moment and then I pushed him away. But I love you. I chose you." It had got to the point the monster of dread was growing inside of her as she watched his expression of remorse spread across his face. "I completely understand if you don't forgive me. I don't forgive myself, and I wish I could tell you how or why it might have happened. But I can't, Adrien, and I'm so sorry." She collapsed onto the chase with her head in her hands and her tears dripping through the gaps between her fingers. "Marinette," he said softly, kneeling down in front of her, placing his hands on top of hers. "There's nothing to forgive. Knowing you, loving you, I believe you." He wrapped his arms around her bent-over body, cocooning her inside his hold. "It is my turn to confess. I think there is something I need to tell you," he whispered. There it was, stronger than ever. The smell of almonds and shea butter. The softness of his blonde hair. The green eyes which could show her the depths of the universe. The sweetness of the kiss which she had known so well. Was it possible? Him? Marinette, Cat Noir. In shock, he released his hold and allowed her to sit up. Cupping his jaw in her hands, she searched his eyes as she was staring from a beast into a prince. It's you, isn't it? It's really you. My kitty. Thank you for listening to part 5. I know I left it on another cliffhanger. I'm so sorry, but next week, on Saturday, it will be part 6, and that will be the final episode. So, final part. So make sure you smash that like button, comment down below what you think is gonna happen in the final, and subscribe so you do not miss out. Okay, and I hope you have a good week ahead of you, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.